What colour is this wall? Is it just plain white? Maybe it is a warm tone of wool, or perhaps it's actually a cool blue wall with a white spot in it. All of these effects are done in camera, no fancy post-processing tricks, and they use the power of LED lights that are CCT. And I'll show you how. To help me out today, I've got the amazing Sophie. Sophie's going to be the model for this photo session, and the light we're using is going to be a single LED light. It's this one right here, the Godox ML150 bi-color light. Now you'll find gear links to everything I'm using in the video description. I'm starting with a little softbox, just so I can show you how the light actually works. Because if I turn it on, we should get a fairly brightish light coming and lighting Sophie pretty good. But to really see this in action, we actually need to turn the room lights off. So now we can just see the light from this single LED, and as you can see, it looks, well, about the same color. But the bi bit is the interesting part. CCT is where you can change the color temperature. So with this light, I can actually change it from 5200K, which is what you're looking at there, to a warmer tone down at 2800K, or a cooler tone at 6500. So I've got a fair amount of control over the color of light that it produces, because white light isn't always what we would consider to be white. With the room lights back on, I can explain really what CCT is supposed to do, because it's designed to balance multiple lights at slightly different colors, whether that's a different light type, or maybe it's just bounced off a wall with a warm tone and you need to make this light warmer to match. Well, you can do that with CCT. In camera, it looks like this. The first thing I need to do is to lock in a white balance on my camera. I've chosen 5200K, which is my standard white balance for the studio. And then I can't change the white balance of the ambient light, but I can change the white balance of the Godox ML150 bi. So starting at a warm tone, I'm dialing it up until the light on Sophie looks like it matches the light surrounding her from the ambient light. Now this isn't an exact science here. I'm doing, if it looks right, it is right. There's another reason you might choose CCT over RGB, and that's the amount of light it can throw out. So 150 watt light is not a guide to how much light it produces, but how much power it uses. This is a bi-color light, it doesn't have any RGB. So if you're looking for maximum brightness, CCT is where to be. But how does that actually play out? Well, at the moment, I've got this light on 1%, and we can definitely see it's doing something, but let's take it up a bit brighter. So I'm going to take this up to 12%. Now you'll notice Sophie is wearing sunglasses. That's for two reasons. The first one is it does get quite bright, and we're going to go brighter than this. But the second reason, and most important one, it looks really cool. How does this picture look? Well, let me show you. So I'm going to be at a setting of 1/500th of a second, f4 and ISO 400. And at that setting, I'm getting a nice picture of Sophie. We can see the shape of this light. It looks really good. But there's also quite a grey background around her as well. And that's being lit by the room light, the ambient light. However, if I take this up from 12% and add one more stop, that means doubling it because I'm on a linear scale. 25% is the easiest number to get to. And I take the same picture, well, I'd need to adjust something, otherwise it would be one stop too bright on Sophie. I'm going to take my ISO down a stop to 200, everything else the same. And when you look at this picture, it looks good, but compared to the previous one, there is definitely more depth to the shadows surrounding Sophie. And if that works, let's go one more. Let's take this up to 50%. That's another stop of light on Sophie, but we're not adding any more of the room light around her. That's staying the same. So if I adjust my camera down another stop to 100, the room light is becoming less and less part of the picture, where the light from our little ML150 watt is getting brighter. And that gives us a much more controlled image on Sophie with much more depth. Basically, we're only at 50% and we've removed the room light. Now it does help having a hard light reflector, but I'm using that partly because it's really bright, but also it adds a great shape, and that's going to come in useful when we get to the photography bit. So we know it's powerful, we know it's bright, we also know it can change color. So let's see if we can use that knowledge to get something a bit more creative than just a straightforward picture. And I'm going to do it using the color side of the CCT. So at the moment I've got this set to 5200, same as my camera. I'm actually going to dial this down. I'm going to take it down to its warmest tone, 2800K, which looks super warm from your point of view. If I take a picture of Sophie, it is going to be super warm. That makes sense. The camera is seeing what you see. But unlike our eyes, I can actually tell this camera what actual white is and affect that result. So let's have a look how it works. So my camera is set to 5200K, but as I dial in a custom white balance that's closer to the white balance I've set on the light, you can see that everything appears to be a more natural, normal, neutral color. But here's the thing. I've got rid of the room light, which is still in the room, we just can't see it in the photos. So let's start adjusting a few things. Rather than being on 50%, I'm going to take a stop of light away and reduce this down to 25% from our little ML150 buy. And now I need to adjust my ISO to match, and we get a little bit more of the ambient light in those shadows, except look what's happening with the shadow color. And I can really emphasize that if I take this down to 12%, so one stop less light on Sophie, which means one more stop of light by changing my ISO. And now we still have that white spot on Sophie, but the walls around her are blue. So why are the walls blue and not white? Well, what you see with your eyes is very different to what my camera is now seeing, because I've told the camera that normal white is really a warm white, this white. So the walls are blue because that is a much cooler white light than is on Sophie. It's a bit of a mind bender, but when you get your head around it, it is a really neat trick. So much so, I think we should take a few photos like this. Sophie, are you ready? Here we go. Now, trying to understand how this white balance hack works simply by looking at a orange colored wall is really hard. Luckily, a mirrorless camera makes the whole thing really obvious, because what you see on the back of your mirrorless camera is the colors your camera is going to capture. And like all good techniques, once you've dialed in the basic settings, try moving something and change it. In this case, just move the light to the side and get a very different effect. Same technique. And thanks to that clean edge I'm getting from the reflector, a corner is an ideal place to put Sophie, because what you see is what you get. That's one of the advantages of LED light, at least in the shape of the light, if not the color. Correlated color temperature, or CCT for short, is a great way to match different light sources so you have a single color in your images, but also it's a fantastic way of just turning the whole world blue if you want to be a bit more creative. Now, if you've enjoyed this video or you've got any questions, go down to the comments, maybe give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Check out the gear links, they'll take you back to Adorama, and if you haven't already done so, I bet you have, but click on that subscribe button. I'm Gavin Hoey, thanks for watching.